Let me be straight with you from the jump. I have never in my life walked up to a guy and said, "Hey, I like you, please make a move." Not once. And honestly, no woman I know has either. That's just not how this works. But here's what I have done. What every woman does is give signals constantly with her hands, her posture, the way she fidgets, the way she adjusts herself when you walk into the room. The whole conversation is happening right in front of you. And most men are sitting there completely oblivious, wondering why they keep missing their shot. You're not missing your shot because women are complicated. You're missing it because nobody ever taught you the language. I've spent a good chunk of time going through behavioral psychology research, body language studies from people like Dr. David Givens at the Center for Nonverbal Studies, Vanessa Van Edwards at Science of People, and honestly just reflecting on my own experiences as a woman who has done every single one of these things, sometimes without even realizing it until after I got home and thought, oh wow, I was absolutely flirting. So let me break it down for you. 8 signs. Real ones, not the she smiled at you nonsense you've read 100 times. She keeps touching her hair, and it's not because it's windy. Okay, yes, hair touching, I know. You've heard this before. But stay with me because there's a difference most people don't explain. Every woman touches her hair sometimes. It gets in your face. You fix it. That's nothing. What I'm talking about is repetitive, deliberate hair touching that happens specifically when she's in your presence, twisting it around her finger, sweeping it dramatically to one side, pulling it over her shoulder to expose her neck, flipping it. These aren't grooming behaviors. These are nervous system behaviors. When attraction hits, your brain releases dopamine and norepinephrine. That combination literally creates excess nervous energy in your hands. And the hair is one of the first places women unconsciously channel that energy. Dr. David Givens, who has spent over 30 years studying human courtship signals, identifies this as one of the most consistent and ancient flirting behaviors across cultures. The key is repetition and context. If she touched her hair once before you arrived, that's nothing. If she keeps going back to it while she's talking to you specifically, that's her doing the talking for her. She touches her neck, and this one is bigger than you think. This is the one that genuinely surprises people when I explain it. The neck is one of the most vulnerable parts of the human body. Major arteries sit right under the surface. From an evolutionary standpoint, exposing or drawing attention to your own neck is a deeply instinctive trust and submission signal. It's essentially saying, I feel safe around you without a single word. Vanessa Van Edwards, who runs Science of People and has analysed thousands of hours of human interaction, found that neck touching in women increases by nearly 300% when they're talking to someone they're attracted to versus someone they're indifferent to. 300% is not a small number. And here's my personal confession on this one. I have caught myself touching my neck mid-conversation with a guy I liked and genuinely did not realise I was doing it until after I got home. It is that involuntary. That's exactly why it's such a reliable signal. It's not performed. It's just happening. So if you're talking to a woman and she's lightly running her fingers along her collarbone or touching the side of her neck, trust what you're seeing. Her body is being more honest than her words ever will be. She touches her lips and she knows exactly what she's doing, sort of. Here's where it gets interesting. Research from the University of Manchester using eye-tracking technology found that when men look at a woman's face, they spend roughly 43% of that time focused on her lips, especially when the lips are a colour that contrasts with her skin tone. Women have known this instinctively for thousands of years. Lipstick literally exists because of this knowledge. So when a woman touches her lips while talking to you, whether she's pressing a finger to them, biting her lower lip, or slowly applying lip balm while maintaining eye contact, she is drawing your attention to the exact spot she knows you're already looking at. Is she doing it with full conscious intent every time? Not always, but she's doing it. And the effect is the same regardless. If she's holding eye contact, touching her lips, and there's even a hint of a smile, that is not a subtle signal. That is a green light with a spotlight on it. She's playing with her jewellery. This one most guys don't even notice. This is genuinely one of the most underrated signals on this entire list, and it's underrated specifically because it doesn't look like flirting. It just looks like a nervous habit. And it is a nervous habit. That's exactly the point. When a woman is spinning her ring, tugging on her earring, or playing with her necklace while talking to you, behavioral psychologists call this a self-soothing displacement behavior. What that means in plain English, her body is experiencing a surge of emotional energy, excitement, nervousness, attraction, and it needs somewhere to put that energy. The jewelry becomes the outlet. Dr. Albert Mehrabian, whose research on communication and emotional engagement is still referenced in psychology programs today, found that self-touching behaviors increase significantly when people are emotionally activated in conversation. The more attracted she is, the more restless her hands get. And here's the layer that most men completely miss. If she's playing with a necklace that sits near her chest and glancing at you while doing it, she is not subtly directing your eyes. She is not subtly directing your eyes. She knows where that necklace sits. She touches your arm. And you probably don't react right. This is the one where I see men fumble the most, and it is genuinely painful to watch. When a woman reaches out and touches your arm, your shoulder, or briefly your hand during a conversation, she has just crossed a significant social boundary. Casual touch between two people who aren't yet intimate is a big deal neurologically. A study from DePaul University found that a brief touch during a social interaction increases the other person's perception of warmth, trust, and connection toward whoever initiated it. She's not just expressing interest. She's also trying to create connection. It works on both of you simultaneously. Now, here's what I need you to understand from the female side of this. When I touched a guy's arm during a conversation and he just didn't react, didn't smile, didn't lean in, didn't do anything, it felt like throwing something to someone and watching it bounce off their chest because they didn't even try to catch it. It is deflating in a way that is hard to describe. The correct response is not to freeze. It's not to overthink it. Smile. Lean in slightly. If you're comfortable, mirror the touch. Put your hand briefly on her arm in return. You don't need a script. You just need to acknowledge that something just happened because she just handed you everything you needed to know. So what do you actually do with this? Here's the thing I want to leave you with. None of these signals involve a single word. Not one. And that's exactly why they get missed, because we're conditioned to listen to what people say, not what their bodies are doing in the meantime. But the body speaks first, always. And it speaks without the filters that words come with. A woman's words might say, "I'm just being friendly," but her hands, her posture, her unconscious gestures are telling you the actual story if you know how to read it. This isn't about manipulation. It's not about gaming anyone. It's about paying attention. Genuinely paying attention to what's already being communicated to you. The next time you're in a conversation and you notice her twisting her hair, touching her neck, playing with her jewelry, or resting her chin in her hand while she looks at you with that specific kind of focused attention, don't just stand there processing it for the next 45 minutes. Recognize it, respond to it, lean in, smile, mirror something. Show her that you're present and that you actually see her, because she's already halfway across the bridge toward you. All you have to do is meet her in the middle.